countries across sub-Saharan Africa are grappling with the challenges of sustaining high levels of economic growth amidst a backdrop of plunging commodity prices. Here to discuss is Segun Agbaje, Managing Director and CEO of Guaranty Bank. Well, Segun, first off, can you talk me through the major economies in Africa? Of course, Nigeria is leading the way.
Well, yes, there is Nigeria. I mean, I try to do like North Africa away from Nigeria. So there's Nigeria, there's East Africa. I look at East Africa basically like one zone. It's becoming an economic zone. In there you got Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania. There's Ghana, which is smaller. Then, of course, there's South Africa. And then there's Egypt. So I think today, those are probably the big economies I see in Africa. Then you have Angola, which is obviously oil-driven, and Mozambique, which is a gas play, really.
And where would you say are the major growth markets, and how are you approaching them?
First, in Africa, there's a lot of people are financially excluded. So retail, banking individuals, is a huge growth segment, and the telecoms companies have taught us that. You have countries where you have 140 million mobile lines, and you have 23 million bank accounts, so there's still so much to do. Then you have the small and medium scale SMEs. There's plenty to do there. There's food is a big thing. There's the garment industry. Those are the things I see as high growth. I mean, I started moving away from the corporate type business, manufacturing, oil and gas, and coming down to like the SMEs and retail type businesses.
Well, oil prices have really hit Nigeria and indeed Africa. How are they impacting the banking industry?
Oil prices is like 7 years of plenty and 7 years of deprivation. That's where we are today. In the banking industry, the way you deal with it, at least the way we are dealing with it, is you make sure that your loan book doesn't go belly up as a result of it. You look at the upstream sector, you look at the downstream sector, and you try to safeguard your loans. Also, what it does for you also is that you start to look for other parts of the economies that are doing well, and that's why I just spoke to you about SMEs, retail, food, garment. So we've become a little more cautious with loans in the upstream and the corporate sector, but we've become a lot more bullish about our retail and SME business.
Well, as you mentioned, SMEs are really driving economies in Africa. Do you think the banking sector is doing enough to support them?
Well, we didn't start out by doing that. I think most of us functioned as high-end wholesale banks, and we liked all the corporates, and then we started to do retail, and now we've seen that you need to do SME. The truth about Africa is that probably 1 in 3 people or 1 in 2 is an SME, so it's a huge growth segment. It has a lot of risk, so traditionally banks have kind of run away from it, but we're beginning to dimension the risk. We're attacking it very differently. We're doing things like market hubs for them. We're doing payment engines for them. We're giving them capacity in terms of accounting and understanding finance. And I think in the next 3 to 4 years, that's again one of the big growth sectors you'll see in Africa.
Now, mobile banking is becoming the norm in many parts of the world. How is the African banking sector responding?
Well, I actually think the African banking sector is actually ahead in terms of mobile banking. The test case everybody refers to is M-Pesa in Kenya, which is basically one of the most successful mobile engines. In Nigeria as well, mobile's a really, really big thing. When I look at our mobile technology compared to a lot of developed economies, I think we're a lot further ahead. And there is a difference. A lot of it is localized, because when you go to developed economies, you're doing a lot of internet type banking on smartphones. But in Africa, there is still a lot of poverty, and most people don't have smartphones. So we're using what you call USSD technology, and we're really doing big things in that mobile space, and for financial inclusion and not building just a bricks and mortar branch network. I think it's critical, and I think Africa will remain at the forefront of mobile banking technology.
Well, finally, what trends do you foresee impacting the sector in the coming 12 months?
I think mobile is going to be very, very big. I think you're going to see people doing a lot in terms of SME type business. I think payment hubs. I think payments is going to be a very, very big thing, all revolving around mobile technology. And I think African banks are probably embracing disruptive technologies a lot quicker because we don't have as many legacies.